Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's first video, having a look at the weekend forecast in today's first video. As always on a Saturday, having a detailed look at the weather for the weekend. Later on, we'll have the latest ENSO update for February. So that's going to be looking at what's happening in the Pacific in terms of El Nino, La Nina, and all of that kind of thing. That'll be with you later on today. Before I get on with the weekend forecast, though, just to say about the ads that Gasworth is. So there's links articles on the page. Just have a browse widgets to click through links. You can help us page website. Thanks so much for doing that. There's also video ads, most pages, which own that content. When you watch them, you can close them back up again, and it does help to pay for Gasworth. So thanks so much for getting involved. And thanks for doing that. The websites we're using for the weekend forecast coming from theweatheroutlook.com and weathercentre.de. You can find a link to both those websites on the links page. So, this is the latest radar pitch. It's been quite a wet morning across the north and west of the country, particularly. We are having a bit of a clearance to that. Persistent rain now through Scotland and Northern Ireland, turning more showery there. But still quite a bit of rain coming down through northwest England into Wales. There's some showery rain through the Midlands to eastern England as well. A lot of this rain in the east is quite light, but in the west it is fairly heavy, and particularly around Cumbria, we are going to be seeing several hours of persistent and heavy rain. So the rainfall totals will be clocking up, I think, through the Lake District and up into parts of Cumbria today. Here's today's Oxford pressure chart. We've got low pressure in control. Low pressure will be in control through the coming week. Actually, could be a really unsettled week ahead, as you'll see running through the charts. But for today, we're in this westerly, southwesterly flow. There is a weather front strung out within that flow as well, progressing slowly southwards and eastwards. So you're going to have more showery rain across England and Wales through the course of the day. Much of it in the east will be light, but in the west and northwest will be heavier. Again, those rain totals will really be clocking up in places like Cumbria. To the northwest of that, I think it's going to brighten up a bit this afternoon with sunny spells, but also a few showers through Scotland and Northern Ireland. Temperatures in the south up to around 10 or 11 degrees. That's around 52 Fahrenheit. In the north, it'll be cooler, though, 4 to 6 degrees across the north of Scotland. Overnight tonight, we're going to find showery rain across England and Wales this evening, gradually dying out overnight and turn mostly dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland will have a dry start to the night. A few showers around. They might be a bit wintry over hills, but by the end of the night, this next area of low pressure will be spreading wet and windy weather back into western Scotland and Northern Ireland. Temperatures could reach around, or could drop to around 3 or 4 degrees in the far north with a touch of ground frost before that wet and windy weather starts moving back in, lifting the temperatures later on in the night. Really unsettled day for Sunday. Low pressures out to the north and west of Scotland, driving in weather front across the country. So we're going to start off perhaps with some early brightness across southern and eastern parts of the country, but it'll be wet and windy from the word go in the northwest, and that wind and rain will spread across the country through the course of the day, probably not arriving in towards the southeast until after dark, but most places, I think, by the end of Sunday will be turning wet and also quite windy. Tightly packed isobars indicates quite heavy rain, especially some quite heavy winds, quite strong winds with that heavy rain, especially in the north and the west of the country. By the end of the day, we might start to see a clearance of that rain with brighter skies, but blustery showers coming back into the far north and west. Temperatures tomorrow will technically be fairly mild, around 10 degrees in the south, around 7 degrees in the north, but it won't feel that mild in the wind and the rain. Now look at that, really unsettled to start the working week. Low pressure is right over the country for Monday. So that heavy rain from Sunday is going to be still left in the southeast on Monday morning. Could be some really wet weather across the East Anglia and southeast England. That should move away through the day. And then we're looking at a day of sunshine and showers, really, with these westerly winds coming in across the country. There could be longer spells of rain, again, particularly focused perhaps around Cumbria, the Lake District, for those longer spells of rain, and maybe North Wales too on Monday. Elsewhere, showers. The showers could well be heavy, widespread, with risk of hail and thunder mixed in as well. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler also, so range around 4 to 8 degrees, and we might start to see those showers turning increasingly wintry, actually, over high ground in the north. That low pressure is moving away to our east on Tuesday, putting down a colder northwesterly wind. There'll still be showers left on Tuesday, but they should be lighter and more scattered. We start off with a fairly widespread frost, especially through central and northern parts of the country. Temperatures might go as low -3 or -4 to start with on Tuesday. But I have showers in the north and the east of the country particularly. Again, they could be wintry over high ground, but they will be lighter and more scattered compared to the showers we have coming up on Monday. Temperatures are going to be quite cold at around 3 to 7 degrees. That's actually about average for the end of February, but it'll feel colder compared to what we've been used to. Low pressure's coming back in on Wednesday. Now you'll notice we've got a little bit of a ridge here across Greenland. It's very weak, but it is enough to be pushing these low pressures further south than you would normally expect. So that means two things. It means that the heavy rain, persistent rain, is probably more focused on England and Wales than it is for Scotland. And for Scotland, you're very close to pulling down cold wind, cold air from the Arctic. So for Scotland, on the northern edge of these areas of low pressure, we might find some snow turning up in the second half of the week. Very complex setup, really. Wednesday starts off on a mostly dry note, probably with frost again in the north and east, but the next batch of rain will be spreading in across Ireland, Wales and England through the course of the day. That might turn to snow on its northern edge if it gets as far north as, say, the far north of northern England and into southern parts of Scotland. The bulk of Scotland probably stays dry with sunny spells, but also a chance of a few wintry showers. Temperatures in the south could be very mild to around 11 degrees, but it won't feel that mild in the wet and windy weather. In the north, quite cold at just 3 or 4 degrees. Thursday might bring a little bit of a respite across the country, although low pressure is very, very close. So we may have a drier day on Thursday with sunny spells, but I wouldn't be ruling out the chance of the next batch of rain arriving in the south and southwest by the end of the day. Certainly for northern east areas, you might get a slightly drier, brighter day on Thursday. Temperatures about average, perhaps a little bit on the milder side in the south, around 10 degrees. In the north, it will be quite chilly at around 5 or 6 degrees. And then into Friday, the next low pressure is moving in. So again, we might start off with a bright, dry start, maybe with some frost in the north and east, but expect cloud and rain to quickly be spreading up across the country courtesy of this area of low pressure. Some of that rain could be very heavy. By this point, the rainfall totals will be starting to really clock up, so I would have thought we may have a risk of some localised flooding, particularly perhaps in the west, by the end of the week. Temperatures could be very mild though in the south, at around 13 degrees, 55 Fahrenheit, but still just about cold in the north, very close to bringing in a north or northeasterly flow there. Over the weekend, it just looks really unsettled. Low pressure is slap bang over the top of the country, so both Saturday and Sunday look very unsettled. I expect showers or longer spells of rain to be revolving around this area of low pressure. Temperature probably dropping back as well, back towards the long-term seasonal average. If I have a look at charts of weather outlook, so here's the rain spreading southwards and eastwards across England and Wales through the course of today. Much of that is going to be light in the east, but it will be heavier in the west. Wet and windy conditions in the north and west through the course of Sunday, gradually spreading southwards and eastwards with more showery conditions following up to the north. Monday starts off wet in the southeast, and that rain clears away and we find showers then breaking out. Some of the showers will be heavy and thundery and potentially wintry over high ground as well. So a real mix of rain, sleet, snow, hail, thunder on Monday. It's all going to be taking place on Monday. Tuesday will be a quiet day, quite chilly, but the showers should be lighter and more scattered compared to what we have on Monday. Again, there could be wintry showers over high ground. Into Wednesday, we expect more rain to be pushing up from the south and the west through the course of the day. Some of that looks quite heavy and persistent as well, accompanied by strong winds. It might turn to snow on the northern edge across northern England and Scotland. Thursday, potentially a slightly better day there, drier day, but rain won't be all that far away. And by the time we get through to Friday, there's a lot of uncertainty, but I reckon rain will be moving in from the south and the west through the course of the day. So, in summary, well, it's been a dry winter, very dry winter. We'll have the final stats on that when we get through to the start of March. But it has been a dry winter. That is changing completely in the coming week because low pressure is dominating for the start of spring. We're going to find low pressure in control, so there'll be bouts of heavy rain, showers, longer spells of rain. Will be cold enough for some snow at times in the north. Temperatures in the south, though, will be very mild. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Come back later on for the ENSO update.